My earliest memory of music that I can put my finger on at least is back in my old apartment. I used to live in this apartment in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and it was just a small little carpeted floor apartment, but one of my favorite things to do was dance when I was a kid. I always loved dancing. It was the way I got my energy out. And so I think one of the first songs I can remember hearing is Kung Fu Fighting, because you have to hear that one at some point. But I was listening to Kung Fu Fighting, and me and my mom's mom, my grandma, would sit in front of the computer and just scroll through old iTunes when you still had to like download things onto your computer to listen to them. And she would scroll through iTunes and just play songs, and I would sit next to her kitchen chair and just dance as long until I couldn't dance anymore. London, Ontario is this wonderful little place in Canada. It's a small town 2 hours away from Toronto. It's quite a big city. We've been growing rapidly in the past few years. We started with like a 300,000 population. Now we're getting closer to 600,000, 700,000 people. We are like a mini Toronto without the subways. Our architecture is really beautiful. Here we have a lot of old buildings and arts and culture in the sense of like street art, and a lot more markets and a lot of little shops you can go to and visit. I love enjoying downtown. There's a lot of graffiti art. There's lots of local restaurants to come down to. And if you're down here, you can go basically any direction and be where you need to be. Living in London and growing up in London was like kind of a double-edged sword. Like when I was younger, there was always like a sense of like standing out or being the outlier or not really fitting in and not knowing why. And obviously, it took me a long time to figure out why and realize that like I wasn't the same gender as when I was born and all of that stuff. But even before that, I had community. I just didn't feel like I was involved or a part of this thing that everybody was talking about. And then when it came to me coming out and realizing I am more than what I was just born as. I'm all and I am none. I am a man, but you don't have to see me as one. Like, it was a really eye-opening experience for me to kind of be able to push back against that sense of conformity and normalness, you know what I mean? So after doing that and having like such a pushback from the people the people at my school and the people I was surrounded by, I think one of the big things for me was recognizing this is gonna be my life for the next little while. Like, I'm gonna have to speak up if I want what's happened to be done.
Kam, he's fantastic. He's passionate about everything he does. He's hot-headed sometimes, but he cares about everybody, about music. Music's his everything. He's a good boy. Every day he says something, he makes me laugh. I'm just lucky to have him in my life. A lot of people from my generation, especially when Kam came out, I didn't know. I had to do a lot of reading, a lot of education for myself. Just being there for him, helping him through everything, being that rock, because it's hard, harder than it needs to be.
You're running to the store quick? Okay, cool. This is Audra, my stepmom, by the way.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm Dari.
Dari, nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Mel. You're Mel. Mel, nice to meet you. You too.
This is our backyard, so welcome. I'm not sure if my cat's out here. I hope she is. Yeah, my gram and my dad and my stepmom, they all work really hard on the garden out here. It's my favorite spot to be also. I spend a lot of time out here.
Kam's had his fair share of struggles, especially with him being trans and him being Indigenous. You know, like we talked about, all of these things that are expected of him. And then not only does he have this Indigenous target on his back and, you know, all of the stereotypes that come along with that, well, now he has this label of being transgender on him as well. And we live in a society that is so scared of things that they don't know about. And a lot of times it's going to be because of miseducation or not lack of education, right?
I'm Elijah, I'm Kam's partner, and I live with him here in London. I've been living with him for the past year and a little bit now. So I knew of him. He was a year younger than me, so I didn't really associate in elementary school. But when I went back and had seen that he had come out at school and everything and had been talking to one of my teachers about it and everything, I was like, oh my God, like what? Then I was talking to him afterwards about how that kind of went, just because I knew how that school kind of was with everything. When he had first come out and was trying to get everything changed in the school, be using the correct washrooms, be on the right sports teams, things like that, that there was a lot of pushback. There was a lot of that he wasn't even allowed to enter the washroom that he wanted to, things like that.
I think that one part of the community I found a lot of help with is like once I came out, and after that, all of the other queer people started coming to me. Like all the other Indigenous people, you know, make themselves known. Like we find each other, we know who each other are, it's just making that step to connect and to recognize our existence. I've been feeling pretty overexcited, to be quite honest. I've been doing a lot of thinking just about how the song's gonna go, what our day's gonna look like, and everything like that. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out my outfit. I tried on like 4 different things. My partner's sitting there and he was like, no matter what you wear, you're gonna be fine. Like, relax. Our first recording day was crazy. I was a little nervous, but I got grounded with Mel and it was very nice to do all the grounding techniques. I was not expecting myself to jump into it as easily as I did. And I'm very much not like a person who would do something like this. Had you talked to 2 years ago, Cam, he would have been like, no, he didn't. He didn't do that. What are you talking about? So it makes me incredibly happy to be able to say that I'm here and that we did do this, and I don't think I've ever felt so supported in an environment like this before either. Here we go.
Atrophy of my anatomy, analogies of my apathy, alchemy, my agony, heavily acting absently. The baptistry was a banditry, it's blasphemy, but it's blasphemy, a catastrophe of fallacy. Had no idea they were after me. Taking tinted windows to turn them to bed sheets, tossing, turning, trying to get any sleep. The time to tell my teeth out strikes at 20 after 3. The test, I test my patience, trust out of me.
I sat down with my version originally and kind of just wanted to sit with the uncomfort of thinking about all the things that I have been through or that I've dealt with directly. There's nothing that frustrates me more than not having a sense of autonomy, not having a sense of self, feeling like you're less than, but at no fault of your own. We're all focused on our own little worlds. We all get zoned in on our own identities and our own histories, right? And that's our nature. But I think part of the fellowship was like really recognizing like, hey, you have the ability to find out about every single one of these histories, every single one of these things that we're telling you here. So why don't you? You know what I mean? And it was kind of like a, you're right, kind of moment. There are little facets of my life that I didn't realize were holding me down or giving me barriers, but it was because it was this ideal or that ideal or a little snippet of something that was an ideal that was rooted in colonialism, that was rooted in whiteness, that was rooted in Christianity. And letting go of those things and that conformity in these boxes and this, that, the other, I am my own box. I don't have to fit into any box in particular. So I think that it's been very helpful learning about decolonizing in my own somatic self as well as outwardly throughout my day-to-day and globally.